morning, everybody. Oh, it's a beautiful morning at the temple. I said go, tell it on the mountain, over the hills, tell it everywhere. Now go, tell it on the mountain, that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching over silent flocks by night, there came a holy light, and they were singing, go, tell it on the mountain, tell it over the hills, tell it everywhere. Now go, tell it on the mountain, that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds and the wise men journeyed from afar. Well, they heard the angels singing beneath the Bethlehem star, and they were singing, now go, tell it on the mountain, tell it over the hills and everywhere. Now go, tell it on the mountain, that Jesus Christ is born. In a lonely manger, that humble baby did lay, sent out for our salvation, that blessed Christmas day. And they were singing, now go, tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go, tell it on the Jesus Christ is born. Yeah, Jesus Christ
Thank you, Kelly. Always wonderful to have you. Thank you, Jim Mayer, for being with us today. Welcome, everybody, to Unity Temple in the Plaza, a place where diversity is praised and peace and harmony the rewards. This is the Christmas season that we're in. We have our Christmas Eve service at 6 o'clock here in the sanctuary, and we're looking forward to that. It's usually one of the biggest of the year, but we believe with the ionizers and the distancing that we have with this size room, that it's going to be as safe as it could possibly be. So oftentimes I'm asked what Unity believes in Christmas, and it's very simple. We celebrate Jesus not as an exception, but as an example of the potential of humanity, of what we can do to rise up and live a better life and make a better world. Jesus has taken our search for God out there to finding God in here. He's the one that said the kingdom of God is within us, not somebody on a throne dictating to us, punishing us, sending us to hell, but an ever source of love. And love happens to be the word for the Advent Sunday today. Also, on December 19th, that's next Sunday at 4 o'clock here in the sanctuary, we're going to have a holiday jazz concert with all your favorite songs. Tim Whitmer, Millie Edwards will be there, Joe Cartwright, a lot of other great jazz greats. So join us for that. You can buy tickets in the bookstore, I believe, after the service. So when I'll begin the service with the temple chimes, the opening prayer, and Geneva Price with the call to inspiration. Temple chimes. Ding. Ding. Please join with me in this prayer if you choose. On this day, we dedicate ourselves to peace on earth. We accept ourselves without harsh judgment and express appreciation for our individuality. We live this without fear to meet the events of this day with confidence. We accept others without prejudice to experience a sense of unity with all people. We honor our earthly environment and recognize the oneness with all creation, in harmony with ourselves, our lives, other people, and all of nature. We live this day with a peaceful mind, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful spirit. Thank you, God. Amen.
We are a family of love, great and small. Love divine includes all. I let it flow and shine through me. Oh, healing love, be born within our hearts. You are the light, you are the light, which shines in darkness.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Oh Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb, and there are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough love, sweet love. Oh, no, not just for some, but for everyone. Oh, Lord, we don't need another meadow. 'Cause there are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now. Love, sweet love. Oh, it's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Oh, no, not just for some, but for everyone. Oh, no, not just for some, but for Well, good morning again. As always, it is a joy and a pleasure to be here. It is a joy and a pleasure to be here. As my mom would say, I kid you not. So here we are on the third Sunday of Advent. And when I grew up, the third Sunday of Advent was about joy. And here at Unity, it's about love. Doesn't get any better than that. It's about love, love, love this morning. What does love look like? When I was in 6th grade, I started to participate in a program, an annual yearly program in Emporia, Kansas, where I grew up. And at that time, it was called the Christmas program. And since that time, it has become more inclusive to involve other faiths as well. And now it's called the seasonal celebration. But in my mind, it's the Christmas program. So every student in the entire, of all the schools there, and Emporia at that time was a smaller town, so there weren't a lot of schools, but there were several. So all the 6th graders got to participate in this, which was a big deal, because at that time, many 6th graders weren't singing in choirs. They weren't doing any singing in public, but everybody looked forward to the Christmas program. As 6th graders, we got to wear these groovy white robes, and they hit us about here. And depending on how tall you were at that time I was 5 feet tall, so my robe came down to here. And I thought, well, isn't that special? And there were combined choirs, the 6th graders, the 7th and 8th and 9th graders, who at that time were junior high. And then there were the high schoolers, and all the younger students were up as you walked into the big civic auditorium and the balconies on each side. That's where the younger students and the younger choirs were. And then the orchestra, which was the combined high school, junior high, and some ringer players, the instructors, sat in with them. They played on the main floor. And when you were in high school, you got to walk in, you marched in to a medley of songs that everybody sang. And the lights went down, And there were a medley of songs. Angels we have heard on high, oh come all ye faithful. And all the sixth graders couldn't wait to see those high schoolers march in because they had on the long crimson robes. And they got to carry electric candles. And you would twist the top and bam, there would be a flame. You didn't get to carry those till you were in high school. And I always thought this was a really smart thing because it was an incentive to keep on singing all through school, because when you got to high school, if you sang in the chorale or the mixed ensemble or the boys or girls chorus, you know you were going to get to walk down that thing and carry an electric candle. It was exciting. What I didn't know at the time, and that I now know as an adult, was how much work was put into that program every single year by all the choir directors. But one man in particular, the high school choir director, Don Grant, he was one of the originators of this program, and I believe it has now gone on for some 50 years. And Don Grant died this last year. And he was a huge influence in my life. And what I didn't know at the time was Don Grant was love in action. He had dreamed this thing up. He had coordinated this thing. He had included all the students from 6th grade on up to be part of a celebration that would not only make us kind of step up to the plate and feel good about ourselves, whether we could sing or not. Oh, he had a contingency for that. If there was a student that was too scared to sing or didn't want to sing, or they didn't tell them that, but maybe couldn't quite hear what the notes were, they were making a joyful noise, make no mistake. They got a special job. And their special job was to play the auto harp. Oh, man. Now, that was a coveted job, so you didn't feel like you were being chastised if you got to play the auto harp. In fact, none of those students knew till much later that the reason they were playing that auto harp was because that was going to be the best way they could show up that day. And he did that with love. We are living in an extraordinary time. This is unlike any Christmas I can ever remember. Now, last year on this third Sunday of Advent, we couldn't get together except for online or watch. Yeah, it was all online, most places. And here we are sitting in this beautiful sanctuary. Look at these beautiful trees and lights. Look at our surroundings. And the Advent candles. See what we get to do today? Isn't this something? Now, I know we're still being careful. We're still taking care of each other. We're still being very, very mindful. And we're doing that with love. Love is the reason we're here. Love is the reason that any of us are on the planet right now. Because I believe that God, or the divine, or whatever word you choose to use, is love. And if God is love, and God and the divine is within each and every one of us, then what are we? We are love. And 1 Corinthians 13:13 ends with, and now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. This comes just after Paul's eloquent description of what true love, agape love, is. And I believe that love is the greatest because it is the root of the other two. Without love, the other two don't exist. Without love, where is faith? Without love, where is hope? Agape love, unconditional love, that's what activates the faith. It's a quality, and this is golden, it's the quality of the Christ consciousness. The consciousness
of Christ. It doesn't come from the outside of us. It rises from within us. So if God is love, and we are created in God's image, and love is God, and anytime you express love to anyone, you are showing an expression of love. You are the expression of God. We're God's eyes, hands, heart, mouth. We're 100% human, and we're 100% divine. That's my opinion. Yes, we can't be completely spiritual or divine all the time, because guess what? We're in these human bodies, and we're human. The other day I was driving down to Emporia. I did a concert there Friday night at the Emporia Granada Theater. And it was a Christmas concert, winter solstice concert that I'd put together. And it was fun to go to my old hometown. And the night before had been the Christmas program, or the seasonal celebration. And it was fun to look out and see all those familiar faces. And I thought, this is where I learned as a child what love is. My parents were able to, and it's next to a miracle, they were able to attend that concert. My dad's 94, mom's 92. And they are the epitome of love for their children, their family, and their neighbors. They are the epitome of love. And so that night, on the drive down there, I was feeling all grateful and, feeling the presence of that consciousness. And as I was driving, somebody cut me off right in front of me. And I went, oh, shook me right out of that. And I thought, just for a second, it was irritating. I was scared. I had some fear. I thought, oh gosh, thank goodness I have good brakes. I'm going to stop this vehicle just in time. And I thought, well, when I pass that person, and then I stopped for a moment and I thought, I'm going to visualize that person is my mother. And maybe something else is going on there. I was 100% human when I got cut off. 100%. But fortunately for me, I at least had a moment of reckoning where I said, and they're human too. And I didn't stop to think, well, I'm going to be spiritual now and I'm going to have the Christ consciousness and switch gears. No, but for some reason, I was able to shift my thinking just for that moment and visualize that was my mom in that car. And I think that's the power and the beauty of the love that lives within each of us. Not necessarily the human part. I should say, for me, it took a minute. But I was so grateful for that, because then I thought, you know what? There have been times when I've been driving, I've made mistakes, and I've been treated harshly, or I've been treated kindly. Now, how do I want to treat this person? Of course, the way I'd want to be treated. So love is inescapable. It's here if we allow it. And Christmas time is the perfect time to remember this, because on this third Sunday of Advent, it also reminds me of anticipation. We're anticipating the birth of the baby, or the baby Jesus. And in metaphysical terms, it's the birth of our own Christ consciousness. It's kind of like it's a golden time. Have you ever had an experience where something's good coming and you know it is? You might be waiting for somebody to come visit you for the holidays that you haven't seen for a long time. Or you're holding a surprise party for your loved one, and you get that feeling of anticipation like, oh, I cannot wait to see their face and hug their neck. Well, I feel like that's what this Sunday of Advent is about. It's about anticipating the birth of the Christ consciousness within each and every one of us. And another way to say that is love shows up. Love is on the way. Love's coming. Love is here. So Christmas reminds me that, oh, good things are coming. So here are some descriptions of love from children. A 7-year-old Bobby says, love is what's in the room with you at Christmas if you stop opening presents and listen. This is a 7-year-old who says this. Another 7-year-old, Karen, says, when you love somebody, your eyelashes go up and down and little stars shoot out of you. Isn't that great? 4-year-old Terry says, love is what makes you smile when you're tired. When you're tired. And here's my favorite one. And this is the most challenging one. And it's a reminder, I realize, to myself. 6-year-old Nika says, if you want to learn to love better, you should start with a friend you hate. If you want to learn to love better, you better start with a friend. I like that he or she calls them a friend that you hate, which I imagine would be somebody you just don't get along with yet. And that's a powerful thing. That is a powerful thing. Love is strong. Sometimes when we bring that word up, and we think of the birth of the Christ child and all that goes with that story, it seems tender, it seems meek and mild. But I believe that love is the strongest, most powerful thing in our world today and has been forever. That there is a power and strength, a mighty strength in love. From today's daily word, here's a quote that says, we have in common the love that elevates beyond personality and self-centered concern. There's the human part. Allowing us to be the vessels through which divine love expresses. Think about that for a minute. Have you ever asked at some point quietly and to yourself, let me be the vessel today? Let that love express through me, as the divine. I know sometimes we say these things and they can become and feel maybe rote, but think about that. Let me be the vessel of love, of divine love that it can express through me. What would that look like? That car cut me off. Let me be the vessel. I'm a human. And this suddenly I visualized that was my mother driving, and my body relaxed. I didn't say what I was about to say. I didn't do it. Suddenly it didn't feel right. The daily word goes on to say, to see someone through the eyes of love, to finally see ourselves that way. I'm going to repeat that. To finally see ourselves that way is truly a Christmas miracle. I'm inviting you to be the vessel today. And it might just be for a few minutes, or it might go on for a long time. I'm inviting you to see yourself as a Christmas miracle. Where does love live? I have a song that I wrote that says, where does love live? And the answering line is, deep inside of me. Where does love live? Where is it? It's deep inside of me and you and everybody watching online. There it is. It's right here. Sometimes love asks us to do things that we don't want to do. To love that friend that we hate. To don't say the thing that the human part of us wants to say. And sometimes it's really hard to stay in the energy of love. One of the most powerful examples of that I've seen in my life centers around a 25-year-old man named Isaiah. And Isaiah is the son of a good friend of ours. His mother sings with me often, and she's a powerful, wonderful singer. She is an amazing person, and she and her husband are very, very strong in their beliefs, in their faith. And Isaiah, being 25, they have a son, Isaiah, and a daughter, Angelina, who's the oldest. And not long ago, Isaiah was driving in his car with his girlfriend, and he had a brain aneurysm out of the blue. He turned to his girlfriend. He said, "I don't feel well." Fortunately, he wasn't far from here. He was close to St. Luke's. And she got on the phone. She drove him there. He was at the wheel. He was driving. She got him out there, and she got him behind the wheel and took him straight there. He said, "I don't feel well." And so it happened really quickly. She just had time to call 911, get him to the hospital, call the parents. They were on their way from Topeka, Kansas. And it looked like Isaiah was going to be okay. And she got a hold of all the friends and said, "Okay, everybody, I need you to pray. I need you to send healing energy. I need you to send it now. Here's where we are. This is what's going on." And so we all did. We all did. In fact, a couple of days later, when he appeared to be making a turn for the better, I went up there, sat with them, sat with him. He appeared to be doing better. And I came home and I told my husband, "Boy, whew, Isaiah, he's a fighter." And 2 days later, he was gone. And I tell you this to illustrate the power and the strength of what love did in that situation. There's no describing the grief and the agony that happens when you lose a child. There's nothing I can say to describe what they went through. However, they decided, our 25-year-old son, who was an athlete, who was a coach, who was in every other way in perfect physical condition, they decided he is going to be an organ donor. That's what love did. It was hard. In the community that they grew up in, that wasn't the norm. In fact, a lot of people didn't really know about that. And they decided to do it. And they told all their friends, "This is what we're doing." And it was a tough, love-filled, spirit-filled decision. And they did it. And when they had his service, memorial service in Topeka, they handed out cards to everybody and had little pins. "Be an organ donor. Here's why you want to do this. This is what our Isaiah has done. This is how his love continues on in the physical realm, although in their faith they believe he is also there in spirit." And they lifted that up with love. And because they called on the power of the divine, of God, of the faith of their choosing, and said, "Help us walk and be the vessels right here, right now. Can we please walk with love now in the hardest time?" And they did it. And since that time, they have gotten on the board of a particular organization in Kansas City for organ donors' families. They have met the people who Isaiah has helped to live on physically. Met them, blessed them, thanked them. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So the universe is within each and every one of us, bright and beautiful, even in our darkest hour. Love is alive, you all. Love is here right now. If you put your hand on your heart, on your chest, and feel that heart beating, you take a deep breath and you feel your lungs fill with air. You're fully human and you are fully, fully divine. Love is right here, right now, in each and every one of us. It's in Geneva, in that beautiful voice. Did you hear that? Do you hear how beautiful that is? That's love. Thank you, Geneva. Do you hear it when Jim comes up to play his horn? He's not messing around. He is fully here with us. That's love. We must never take these things for granted. Because we're human, we get to enjoy these things. Because we're human, we get to feel those emotions. Because we're human, we get to experience love. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross says, people are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and shine when the sun is out, but when the darkness sets in, then their true beauty is revealed only if there is a light from within. The First Unity Principle says, God is all there is and present everywhere. This is the force of love and wisdom that underlines all of existence. God is everywhere. God was walking with them in their darkest hour. God was with Isaiah and still is. God is with all of us. That's love. That is love in action. There are many different examples, and we're surrounded by many, many examples of love. I want you to think right now of a happy something. It could be a memory, or it could be an ongoing circumstance in your life right now that fills you with that feeling of joy, that feeling of being loved, being appreciated. How does it feel to receive that in a circumstance from somebody or in some place? How does it feel when you hear this beautiful voice come out and sing to you and just spread that like a balm over all of us? How does that feel? Feels like love in action. Now I want you to think also of a time or a time coming up when you're going to do that for someone else. And you can do it in secret. It's something they don't even need to know it's you. Those are the most fun. You sneak in a little surprise, or you do something out of love for someone you don't even necessarily know. And they don't ever need to know that it was you. How does that feel? It's fun to be the vessel. It's fun to recognize and acknowledge the love within each of us. 8-year-old Jenny says, there are two kinds of love, our love, God's love, but hey, God makes both kinds of them. We can tap into both. Author and lecturer Lee Biscaglia once talked about a contest that he was asked to judge. And the purpose of this contest was to find the most caring or loving child. Listen to this. The winner was a 4-year-old child whose next door neighbor was an elderly gentleman who had recently lost his wife. Now keep in mind, this is a 4-year-old. Upon seeing the man cry, the little boy went into the old gentleman's yard. And then he went up and he climbed onto his lap. And he just sat there. When his mother asked what he had said to the neighbor, the little boy said, nothing. I just helped him cry. 4 years old. So if we need some inspiration about what love is, where the divine is, where the Christ consciousness is, sometimes we need to go to the children. Think like a child. Love is a verb. What did that little person do? Got busy. Not only saw the man cry, said, well, I'm going to sit in his lap. Didn't ask any questions, and I'm just going to sit there and be quiet. What am I going to do? from the child's perspective, I'm going to help him cry. Something tells me that that child's parents are pretty sharp, because the child didn't say, "Oh, don't cry." No, I'm going to help him do that. That's being the vessel. That's love in action. The Christ consciousness is everywhere, and it's in each and every one of us. It's in each and every one of us. There's no question about this. The John O'Donohue poem, A Blessing, says, love is a verb. To love is to bring yourself as an offering to the world, which reminds me of the Christmas story. Offering to the world. And that is an active state, not a passive state. To hold another human being in compassion, including yourself, by the way, is an action. It is not an inert state. There's a song that says, love is all is love. Love is everywhere. And then it says, God is all is God. God is everywhere. I'm going to sing it again. Love is all is love. Love is everywhere. God is all is God. God is everywhere. So here are some things to consider for this week coming up. We're gearing up for Christmas. We're gearing up for celebrations, for music and food and decorations and family, and hopefully safe gatherings with friends and people we really missed. Have you missed anybody this last year or so? I have. I'm hoping that you're going to get to see that person in person. And if not, try this. Just make a phone call. Call them up. If you've been thinking about them, just give them a call. Don't wait till Christmas Day. Give them a call. Be the vessel. Say what you need to say. Say what you want to say with love and compassion and that Christ consciousness. Be the vessel. Call them up. Send them a handwritten card. A handwritten card. Now, it may have been a while since some of us have done that, but I know how I feel when one shows up in my mailbox. It's like, oh, I used to write letters. I remember what that feels like. Try that. Try it. Send it to the favorite teacher that you wanted to thank. Send it to the person that you've been estranged from. Send it to one of the troops. There's lots of addresses you can send there just to say, I don't know you personally, but hey, thanks. I know you can't be home at Christmas. Put that love, infuse that love, and put it out into the world. Acknowledge someone. Acknowledge someone. Do something nice for yourself. Sometimes we hesitate to do that. We feel like, well, I got to keep pushing. Nobody else can take care of this but me. I got to keep it going. And what happens is it wears us out. Everybody around us gets stressed. And when we do something nice for ourselves, it can just mean, hey, you know what? I'm going to take an hour to sit down and just rest and not worry about the presents, the food, the travel, the decorating, the loneliness, the grief I might be experiencing. I'm just going to take a break. I'm going to step away and take a break. My son, when he was little, he used to take a bath at night. And he would close the door and sing at the top of his lungs because he didn't think anybody could hear him in there. And that was his moment in the day, even as a little child, to relax, get away from everybody, and just de-stress and have fun. Children feel stress too. You bet they do. We know that's true. And so one time I was having a neighborhood meeting at our house. Our house is a little bitty, we call Box on the Prairie, but it's also known as the House of Love. So all are welcome. And it happened to be that the meeting was during the time, and he was 8 years old, that he was going to go take his bath. It was bath time. And I didn't have to even remind him. He just said, well, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to take my bath. And he went down the hallway. Keep in mind, this is a small house, all on one floor. He got in there, closed the door, ran his bath, got in, and began to sing Beach Boys songs. Help me, Rhonda, help, at the top of his lungs. And everybody in the little living room went, wow. I said, yeah, that's what he does. That's how he de-stresses. Nobody laughed. Nobody mentioned it to him. Everybody thought, wow, maybe I need to do that. Maybe that's my break. I'm going to go take a bath and, hark the herald angels sing, whatever it may be at Christmas time. Who cares if somebody can hear you? Remember that not everybody is being shown love and affection. Not everybody has that. And aren't we lucky that I would venture to guess that most of us in this room and online, we get to have that. And if we don't have it, we have the consciousness within us to give that. So I'll leave you with this before we go into meditation. First of all, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, however you celebrate. Second of all, and last of all, love is all is love. Love is everywhere. God is all is God. God is everywhere. Some children see him lily white, the baby Jesus born this night. Some children see him lily white, with dresses soft and fair. Some children see him bronzed and brown, the Lord of heaven to earth come down. Some children see him bronzed and brown, with dark and heavy hair. Each children in each different place will see the baby Jesus' face like theirs, but bright with heavenly grace and filled with holy light. Oh, lay aside each earthly thing, and with thy heart as offering, come worship now the infant King. 'Tis love that's born tonight.
If you haven't already, find a comfortable place. Just take a deep breath and allow your entire body to become relaxed as you exhale. Let your thoughts slow down your spirits pick up, your outlook go higher, as we move forth to truly experience love in its greatest sense, today, tomorrow, through the seasons, into the new year. Let us express love to everybody and everything. Let us strive to love the unlovable, to forgive the unforgivable, to allow love in our lives to reign and be our guiding force in our direction to create a better world and a better life for everybody. So move into the silence, think of the love in your life, the friends that you have, the family, the beauty of nature. Just to love your love to flow freely in the silence. Slowly begin to come back out of meditation to this time and this place. And as you do so, bring the love of your heart with you, the joy of your mind with you, the power to make a difference in this world with you, to go forth and live the life that is yours to live, and to truly be a beneficial presence to this earth. And so it is.
Possessing through the ages, living love, be born within our hearts. Living love, be born within our hearts.
Celebrate the love of the Spirit this morning. Celebrate. I want to celebrate the love of the Spirit this morning. I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate the love of the Spirit. Celebrate the love in me. Celebrate the love of the Spirit. Celebrate the Spirit in me. Joy of the Spirit this morning. I say, celebrate. I want to the Spirit this morning. Celebrate. Don't you know what I'm talking about? I want to celebrate the life of the Spirit. Celebrate the life in me. Celebrate the life of the Spirit. Celebrate the Spirit in me. Celebrate the love of the Spirit. Celebrate the love in me. Celebrate the love of the Spirit. Celebrate the love in me.
Once again, thank you, Kelly Hunt and Jim Mayer. Always good to see you. Geneva Price, stand up so people can see you. Yes, please. Stand up, yes. And I'll close with a prayer of protection, and together we'll sing the peace song. If you'd like to make a donation to the church, there are receptacles in the lobby, and we certainly appreciate it. Hope to see you at the concert for the Christmas Eve next Sunday and also Christmas Eve. And then December 26th, there'll be a special after Christmas service, so you can join us then. Together we say the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the